Good afternoon, Musketeers. It's February 26, 2016. I'm Libby Schwab.
And I'm Daniel Stenger, and this is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
On Monday, the ride-sharing service Uber attested to receiving a complaint about Kalamazoo shooting suspect Jason Dalton, quickly after he started his rampage, killing 6 people and injuring 2 others Saturday. Uber's disclosure of this information came the same day Kalamazoo County prosecutor Jeff Gedding stated that Dalton, 45, picked up Uber fares after the first shooting and got more riders after the consecutive shooting. More than an hour before the shooting began, passenger Matt Mellon stated that a mile into the trip, Dalton received a call and thereafter began driving recklessly, blowing through stop signs, driving through lawns, and sideswiping cars. When he came to a stop, Mellon said, quote, "I jumped out of the car and ran away," end quote. Mellon proceeded to call the police and post warnings on Facebook with the assistance of his fiancée. Mellon expressed disappointment for Uber's initial handling of his complaints. An Uber spokesperson responded explaining that they receive a plethora of complaints regularly and did not prioritize it because it was about erratic driving rather than a report of physical violence. Dalton appeared in court by video link Monday and was charged with 6 counts of murder and was denied bail.
Surgeons at the Cleveland Clinic say they have performed the nation's first uterus transplant, giving many women a new treatment option for the condition known as uterine factor infertility. In a statement Thursday, the Cleveland Clinic said the 9-hour surgery was performed a day earlier on a 26-year-old woman using a uterus from a deceased donor. The hospital had long been planning for such a surgery, announcing last fall in a clinical trial that would attempt 10 transplants. The woman's condition is stable, but the hospital declined to release any more details until a press conference next week. The Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Andreas Saikas said the risks aren't greater than those for other transplants, but is considered life-enhancing, similar to transplants of the face or hand. Dr. Saikas noted one important difference, saying, quote, "Unlike any other transplants, these are ephemeral," end quote. Saikas said last year in a statement announcing the study, quote, "They are not intended to last for the duration of the recipient's life, but will be maintained only for as long as is necessary to produce 1 or 2 children," end quote. A little-known endangered mammal called the Allegheny wood rat is facing a serious biological threat in its last Ohio holdout. Eli Badel has more on the story.
The Richard and Lucille Durrell Edge of Appalachia Preserve System is an 18,000-acre nature preserve located in Adams County. Known for being one of the most biodiverse ecological areas in the state of Ohio, the preserve is home to many rare and endangered species, among them being the Allegheny wood rat.
The wood rat is one of Ohio's rarest mammals. Next to the federally endangered bats, it is the rarest mammal.
It is listed by the state of Ohio as an endangered species, and Adams County is unique in that as a part of unglaciated Ohio, it provides a lot of exposed cliffs, rock fissures, and appropriate habitat to sustain Allegheny wood rat populations.
They are interesting critters because they'll go out and collect things, they'll take them back to where they live, and they put them in what's called a midden, and they are, for us, that's helpful because it helps us to find where they live.
Unfortunately, the endangered rat population is being threatened by a new and deadly parasite, the raccoon roundworm.
Wherever they find this raccoon roundworm, they've been finding that wherever the raccoon roundworm is, the wood rats actually have been declining and dying.
The raccoons have this parasite that's innocuous to them. It just simply passes through their system, but then it's picked up by the rats who collect coon scat for the various seeds and things that might be in that.
They store it in their midden piles, and in doing so, they have unwittingly brought in the parasite, this raccoon roundworm, that then they ingest.
In cooperation with the state of Ohio, preserve officials are monitoring the local rat population in order to help track the spread of the parasite and its effects.
From the science end, I get the opportunity to just look through a lot of the habitat that we already own and protect, take records, GPS locations of where wood rats are active, try to get a better sense of what the population size is, certainly in providing support to researchers who might do things like consider doing some genetic studies, maybe collect some DNA of wood rats through hair samples or through scat samples.
And so I'm going out and checking the cliffs. I'm going out and putting out game cameras where I think rats might be. I'll put out little pieces of metal. Since they're pack rats, they might pick it up. They'll go in front of the game camera, and then they will take it back to their midden, and then that lets me know that there was a rat there.
This new disease poses a serious threat to an already threatened species, but preserve officials hope that the Allegheny wood rat will survive this endemic and continue to thrive in the limestone cliffs it calls home.
Hopefully in the next 5 or 10 years we find out that the raccoon roundworm is not everywhere throughout the preserve, and that we have maybe one isolated location where the raccoon roundworm has been found, and we're hoping that it just disappears.
Reporting for Xavier News, this is Eli Beadle.
Xavier University's summer storage and moving company, Campus Solutions, has recently launched its services at Northern Kentucky University. Current owner Dylan Maines said, quote, "The student-run business Campus Solutions that started back in 2011 has remained student-run and is looking forward to continuing to provide its services to its current Xavier University students while expanding to prospective students at NKU," end quote. Dylan says, quote, "We take pride in relieving the stress of moving college students' belongings to and from campus over break," end quote. For more information, check out their new and improved website, gocampussolutions.com.
A gunman killed 3 people and injured 14, and an additional 14 in shootings that ended at a lawn care company in Kansas on Thursday, authorities said. The shooter's rampage was fatally ended by police, bringing the total number of fatalities to 4. Authorities first received calls about a man shooting from a vehicle in Newton about 5 p.m., the Harvey County Sheriff's Office said. Minutes later, there were reports of a shooting at Excel Industries, which makes lawn care equipment in Heston, Kansas, near Wichita. Matt Jarrell, a painter at Excel, told CNN that Cedric Ford, his co-worker and friend, is the suspected shooter. Quote, "Never in a million years," end quote, would he expect his friend to do something like this, Jarrell said. Quote, "He was a mellow guy. He was somebody I could talk to about anything," end quote. A witness identified only as Dylan said he was unloading pallets in the back of the building at the time of the shooting. He reported, quote, "We heard a pop, pop, and we thought it was just metal falling on the ground. And then the doors opened, people started screaming and coming out. We really didn't know what was going on," end quote. The first officer to arrive on the scene was alone and single-handedly took down the shooter. The sheriff stated, quote, "This is just a horrible incident that's happened here. It's going to be a lot of sad people before this is all over." Ben Merlotti brings us a story this week on food waste in the Xavier Hoff Dining Commons.
Every day, students pile into the caf with large eyes and empty stomachs, eager to replenish their diminished energy in order to continue their rigorous academic regimen. However, most students fail to finish what's on their plates, and that food ends up wasted and rotting in Xavier's over-encumbered compost facility. Jennifer Peyote, along with some other Xavier students, have decided to bring awareness to this issue.
Food Not Waste is a campaign where we are teaching and educating the Xavier community about food waste. Every single day in the CAF, 115 gallons of food is wasted on the dish belt, which is a very high number. Overall, that is 810 gallons wasted a week. When you think about that over the course of a year, it's an extreme number. We are actually working towards the new FDA mandated labeling laws. We are a pilot school for the program. And December of this year, you will be required to serve what is actually stated on the nutritional information. So if it says a half a cup of rice, we will serve you a half a cup of rice. We wanted to start off this process with something that would get you to then go look into your digital format. So smacking the face of everyone with trash cans and videos and music playing and signage and yes, display plates. And the reason why we put up perfectly good food was to show what an actual portion was. Most people don't realize that when they take a scoop of eggs, that they're probably taking a dozen.
For Xavier News, this has been Ben Merlotti.
The The American Civil Liberties Union plans to appeal a recent court ruling that citizens can be stopped for recording police officers on duty. U.S. District Court Judge Mark Kearney ruled that citizens don't have an unfettered right to record police activity. Police will be free to stop such recordings unless the person shooting the video announces he or she is recording as a challenge or protest to officers' actions. ACLU attorney Mary Catherine Roper says the ruling reduces the ability of public monitoring of police activity. The appeal is in the process of being heard, and a ruling will be made soon.
Beginning today until March 23rd, a student art exhibition runs at the Cohen Center Art Gallery. Guests will get a chance to meet the artists from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight and enjoy refreshments. The exhibition will show a mixture of works from ceramics to graphic designs to paintings and much more. The variety of mediums expresses the vast talent of Xavier students.
Xavier will kick off its annual March Gladness campaign on Monday. The 48-hour social media campaign asks people to donate and make a difference in the lives of Xavier students. One person who has made a big difference in students' lives is Father B. Muskie News has learned Father B will be the star of this year's March Gladness videos. Here's a sneak peek. March Gladness kicks off Monday with a pancake breakfast starting at 8 a.m. at the CAF. The breakfast is free to all students without a residential meal plan, as well as faculty and staff. That's all from the news desks. Stay with us for Connor Muldoon with the Xavier Sports Report.
Hello, Musketeer fans. We've got a short but very special edition of the Xavier Sports Report today. The swim team has splashed into Long Island for the Big East Championship meet. On Wednesday, 2 school records were broken thanks to the 800 free relay, including Katie Kerr, McKenna Reif, Taylor Yock, and Molly Kroger, posting a time of 7:29.81. In the 200 medley relays, Paxton Drew, Becca Titterton, Caroline Gartner, and Claire Brolsma, finishing in a time of 1:41.52. And after 2 days of competition, the women currently sit in 3rd place. And the men's team leads the field after 2 days of competition, and they are 24 points ahead of 2nd place Georgetown. Luke Johans, Knox Hitt, Michael Petanici, and Eric Bernat led the team on Wednesday with a 1st place finish in the 200 medley relay, swimming to a time of 1:29.5. And the 4-day conference championship will wrap up tomorrow night. But Long Island was not the only place that displayed fireworks on Wednesday. Right here on campus, sparks were flying, both literally and figuratively speaking, in the Cintas Center. The Villanova Wildcats came to town ranked #1 in the country and left with a loss. Xavier became the first team in college basketball to reach 25 wins on the season, defeating Villanova 90-83. Edmund Sumner and JP McCura led the team with 19 points each, and it was pretty evident that the power of X was in full throttle at Cintas as the capacity record was broken. The arena packed in 10,727 fans who were going berserk starting before tip-off. And this record inspired Xavier fans, as next Saturday's final home game versus Creighton was sold out yesterday. However, standing room tickets are still available via GoXavier.com. But what everyone cannot forget is there is a game to be played on Sunday afternoon. Mac and his squad will travel to New Jersey to visit Seton Hall. And Xavier cannot come out and just expect to win. They have to play tough to beat the Pirates and maintain their status as one of the country's best programs. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that the track team traveled today for their conference championships. So good luck to them and good luck to the swim team as they wrap up. Both will wrap up tomorrow night. And that will do it for this edition of the Xavier Sports Report. Thanks for tuning in. And from everyone here in the studio, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. And as always, let's go X.